I might make the schedule tonight and release it so that it's up for this week. But anyways, I am gonna switch games over to Ace Attorney for the last 3 hours or so of stream. We've got some Chapter 5 progress to do in that game, so that should be really fun. I am gonna just get up and stretch, set up my Switch, and then we will get that going in about 5 minutes. So don't go anywhere too far, get some snacks, it should be a good show. This is the final chapter of Great Ace Attorney 2, so we're getting up there, almost at the end. Alright, BRB guys.
Where are you? Bye-bye!
Oh! I have ascended!
At times like this, you just have to act yourself. WWID. Super. Yeah?
Shut up!
Flex!
Shut up. Hun, sweetie, love, darling.
Humanity never conceals its desire to control the heavens, and I'm no exception.
Who? Rise, Phoenix! Hey! Like, yeah. Rise, Phoenix! So saved. hun, sweetie, love, darling. Mm.
Hi guys. Okay, we're back. Armin?
The kitchen is closed.
I had
will
to
roast you.
I had to put that up because I couldn't risk you exposing old menus. Speaking of, I don't know what we're gonna do for my birthday. I don't know how much of the day I'm gonna be out and about, / if we're gonna have a stream or not. Or if I'll, like, put off the birthday stream. Maybe we'll do the birthday stream on Saturday? Ooh, I don't know. I need to think about it. Anyway, I will give that some thought, when I'm making the schedule. In other news, we are here with Ace Attorney for the night. We are just starting the 5th chapter. There was a fair number of things that got dropped in yesterday's episode. We learned that Susato's father is actually the partner of Herlock Sholmes. 5th and final chapter. Yes, sir. We learned that Iris is either Mikotoba's daughter, or we don't know who her father is. What else? Let's look at our court record and see. Iris's lucky charm she just gave us. I don't know how that's going to play into the story. Van Zeeks' brother. We reconfirm that Sholmes is indeed an icon. Because of his, logic and reasoning deduction last night, which was fucking hilarious. I love this picture of them. I'm wondering why that's gonna come up, though. Where is Judge Jigoku? We haven't seen him in a minute. A dog randomly... The little puppy that Gina has mauled Ryunosuke on the last stream for some reason. That was kind of weird. Alright, let's just keep going. We should be starting out right with the courtroom segment, so... Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside to the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. We must go inside now, Lord Van Zeeks. Lord Van Zeeks has always been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today, I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asuki, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. There are so many mysteries that we need to finish unraveling. I feel like a lot of it's on the cusp. We need Stronghearts to be revealed as the baddie. We need to know why Kazuma's father was framed as the professor. Those are the two main things that we're waiting for. We need to know why Gregson had to die. Hey Bao, how's it going? Time to cross blades with Kazuma. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sure Strongheart will be revealed as the big bad in 6 hours. So tired from the batch party. Oh yeah, how was it? Feels even more oppressive in here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Mr. Naruhodo, look! Okay. So this is a good start to, revealing Strongheart as the big bad. Apparently he's replaced the judge.
Party!
Party! Hey, Dots. Where was the party at, Bao, if you don't mind my asking? Lord Strongheart. Oh no, he's hot! Hi, buddy Chris. Well, yeah, I know it was LA. Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. What if we let him get away with it? The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. Yay, no more jury! The 6 jurors' flames just... Yes, as was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery. Good luck winning, Pangy. Now we're good. We're good. Forger, rip icon, no. I stand by most iconic juror was, the Morse code woman who was, like, in the last trial of the first game, and she was just... very iconic. Are distinguished members of our judiciary assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Fanzeeks. You were a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. The sound effect is different. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Beric Van Zeeks, who officially stands accused of murder. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? Defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daily Vigil would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work when, in fact, he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the redheaded. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed a day early. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. Prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Asaki. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on 31st October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. But the official opinion of the investigation team made clear yesterday that the time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now! Before we see who the witness is, give me a second. Concoct a beverage, and then I will begin reading it. So give me a
Oh!
And just like that, I'm back. Okay. Oh. Sit down and I see
Who are
that
you people?
I don't know. I'm excited to see who these witnesses are, or yeah, witness. That's the term. All right, let's see. Oh! State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard.
Get me out of here! Get me out of here!
You know what's funny, Rosen? I think you and I are the only ones that don't like Gina. Everybody else that likes this game likes Gina. It's just us. Yeah, Dots loves. We need the dog to testify. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina? Again? What's your problem, Odo? What's with that Gina again? Look, eh? Huh? Boss meant the world to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh, Inspector Gregson. He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right. All out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Scholl. No. Steven! Hey! Yes, welcome. We are on chapter 5, can you believe it? I'm actually a little gagged that, there wasn't another crime, it's just a continuation of the 4th trial. Gina's arc from petty thief who doesn't trust anyone to where she ends up in this case is just so good. It is fun, I guess, that she started out as like a side character and became much more main stage. I don't dislike her as much as I did at the end of GAA 1, but I'm feeling neutral at best about her. Steven, thank you for the 42 months.
Celebrating 42 months with some Kazuma Asiago Genshin Impact.
Kazuma Asiago Genshin Impact. Indeed. I'm getting hungry. Has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. You missed the Iris Knockout Punch Nobel Prize contraption. Yeah, the logic and reasoning deduction was pretty hilarious yesterday. Very troubling. That face. Lord Strongheart knew. Yes, the weird music coming out of his, music player. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. Bum bum, bum bum, bum bum, bum bum bum. All Yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. Okay. Well, that's not good. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? Oh. I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets. It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. So, okay, that's interesting. I kind of thought Strongheart was giving Gregson orders directly. But we're to assume that Gregson was acting on his own? That doesn't seem too likely. And do we know where the dealings were taking place at this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about any of this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Berg Van Zeeks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then. Oh my, but Lord Van Zeeks has made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord Van Zeeks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. I love the different sound effect. Very well, counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Alright, all Yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate them. Hold it! So, you follow orders, do you, Gina? Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see? Oh. The boss always adds special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby his grub, that kind of thing. So, errands, more than orders, then. This detective is still an apprentice, after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first. A little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secrets. Hold it! Things in it. So you went through Inspector Gregson's things. Yup, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Cause if anyone at the Yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. Got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and her trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby, who found it hidden in one of his desk drawers that had a false bottom. That's impressive. So then I went to hide myself where no one could find me so I could have a butcher's at what was written in it. Because if anyone at the yard had found me out, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. Hey, yes, Toby, if you would. Woof, woof, woof. Thank you. Huh? I've given it in now, though, ain't I? And if it weren't for me, it would have never have been found. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day.
Hold it!
Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember. But I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name of its proceedings. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. And I could too. I got this reading game buttoned up now. Going to bed, very sleepy. Alright, Trash, have a great night. I'll see you this week for some of the streams. Can't I show you what I can do? Go on. What's the arm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. Could try to find out. What should I do? This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. Prosecution has no objection. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. In the defense, if the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then, I get to show off my reading skills. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse.
Hold it!
Grouse? 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 What is this word? What sort of club is that? I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I am kinda curious. They're not places where a foreign student like you would really be admitted. You looked in the mirror? I tell you what, me and Chief Inspector Toby could go in undercover. Could you, though? I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I could find out while I was in there. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower-ranking detectives at the yard reckon. Says the even lower-ranking detective. You're trying to meet up with Strongheart at the Grouse. Looks like it was a big job and all the coppers were in all.
Hold it!
So, how had Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Grouse, TG, the box earlier! Nah, it totally meant Tobias Gregson. Unless... Yeah, that's what I was asking myself, because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. When it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on at that club, no question. Can't say that for certain, though, surely. Matters most, there's witnesses that saw the Reaper at the... Hold it! Lord Van Zeeks was at the club? Was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. It looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Lord Van Zeeks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook, which led him to the club, maybe. Presumably then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there. None have been identified at this time, no. So the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Oi! Why ain't you asking Inspector Lestrade, eh? That's all I've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? I really don't know what to make of all this. Lord Van Zeeks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the Inspector the day before the incident. You don't think Lord Van Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Yeah, I understand. Because if Van Zeeks was at the club and Gregson wasn't, then it's not, it's not a contradiction. If everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. You mean there are details we've yet to uncover?
Do you understand?
Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't. That's what we should do. Okay, so quickly reviewing our court record. Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind. Gosh, for a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged, whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. Okay, there's blood on it. Look at this dark stain here. Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. Ugh. I knew you were gonna say that. So that presumably means that this was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. I think Gina's been carrying this around with her. You didn't know any better? I suppose it does look like a stain from all the chips. I think we already looked at this, right? Appears to be a passport authorizing him to travel overseas. Day of departure might tell us something. That was... 31st October. Okay. Alright, alright. this says, huh? I'm not sure. Okay. So they said there's an error in the testimony. All yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook he had in it. Smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. It's like it was a big job and all. Coppers weren't onto it yet. Witnesses that saw the evidence. So, this is the statement that got revealed by us pressing. So usually this is the one that we present against. Not always, but usually. Smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. I don't... Where is there a mistake in the testimony? Like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. Witnesses saw the rumor at the place too. Wow. Well, it's our first situation where we have to present, and I am kinda stuck. Hold it! Let's repress. Right, you went through Inspector Gregson's things. Yep. Sounding lesson. That's no good. Hold it! I know, not the false bottom.
I'll turn this lie into the truth.
Oh my. Hold it! Weren't onto it yet? I feel like it has to be this. Looks like it was a big job and all the coppers weren't onto it yet. Yeah, we are definitely feuding with the bottoms right now. What if it's the passport? Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. This doesn't really help. Huh? Coppers weren't onto it yet. I really have no clue. There's witnesses that saw the Reaper at the place. Hold it! There are eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there. Ah. The all-important victim wasn't seen in the mysterious club. See, that's really suspicious. Sato?
Oh!
No, she's not. Gina is... Just kidding. She's not the worst. I don't like her. Yeah, Okay, so it has to be that... We don't have the notebook as evidence, do we? We'll search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret people in it. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Crowds. I wasn't even sure if I was saying the word right. I've never even it. Yeah. I was kind of hoping that maybe there was something talking about the club on this board, but that's not the case. So you cannot examine the notebook, no. Because it hasn't been submitted as, like, to the court record. There's no, like, new details here. Oh. There's no random Gregson in the background. I feel like it's a stretch, but what if it's like the passport to prove that Gregson was supposed to be somewhere else that day, aka leaving? I don't know. That seems like that's arguing in the other direction. But none of this evidence is related to what she's talking about, so I'm just like, damn. I'm gonna go on a thoughtful pee, and when I come back, we'll YOLO something.
It's tea time!
Okay, I'm back. The thoughtful pee was unsuccessful because I don't have any more ideas. I'm still very, like, stumped about this. looks like it was a big job and all. The coppers weren't onto it. I feel like this statement is the one you can find a contradiction. But like, what evidence do I have that could possibly contradict that? That's what I'm like. There's blood on Gregson's chest, and there was no... He wasn't at the club, so it couldn't have happened there. Because someone would have seen it. I don't know. I'm like grasping at straws. I mean, clearly the cops were onto it if Gregson knew about it, but he was working solo, so I can't even really refute that. Witnesses saw the Reaper there at the place. We got the gears moving? Alright, you're right. Let's have some insight. Witnesses saw the Reaper at the place. So, like, I don't think that's a mistake either. So I don't think that we refute that.
Objection!
I'm just guessing. Oh my. There's evidence I haven't looked at closely enough. Okay. What if the grouse is mentioned in this paper? Not. What if he's at the grouse? Just kidding. Not. No. No. I'm just kind of going through everything at this point. Yeah, we'll see. Like, there's so little to go off here that's even... I feel like none of this is related. There's something else you can look here. We already looked at the bloodstain and the gash, but that's gonna come up later for sure. Charming little rabbity version of Mr. Sholmes. Suppose this is how Iris sees him. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Your eyes are narratively boring into the poor doll's eyes. Oh, sorry, I was just wondering. What do you suppose would happen if we were to tug its ears with all my might right now? I'm sure that we'll find out. Time is not supposed to. That would be ridiculous if you had to do it in the first part of the trial anyway. Okay, so I'm just kind of pressing through to review what we already read. A load of secret meeting. Smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. It's like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't on to it yet. Is it the autopsy? Oh, there's no time of death, so we have no way. I have no idea. What if it's like, how could he have written it in the journal if he went and died there? Or I guess he's writing that he's gonna go. Like, we can't look at the journal, so we don't know. Little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had local secret meetings in it. Lord Van Zeeks told us he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. Right. We have no evidence that talks about that. You don't think Van Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Am I just not seeing it? If everything Lord Van Zeeks told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony. A clue that Gina hasn't noticed? Big job, but the coppers weren't onto it.
Objection!
I've got no clue. None of this is relevant to what they're talking about. I looked at all my evidence too, so like, what am I not seeing here? Half of this evidence isn't even about Gregson. Like, it... Yeah, I know. I'm literally just taking shots in the dark. Hey, Crimson Pill. I am so not seeing whatever this game is trying to make me see. I was doing some Unicorn Overlord today, though. That was very fun. I am super stumped right now. Going to the corner... No, this is... Oh yeah? How was your D&D set? Is it the wig? Like he's wearing the wig? Saw the Reaper at the place. At the place too? But we have no evidence about where Van Zeeks was the day before the Before that body was discovered, do we? Dismissal notice, framed photograph. No, none of this. Kill a lich in her lair. After some disarming, some master traps. Fun. How often do you guys play D&D? Does Gregson usually have hair? Wait. That's because it's young Gregson. Yeah? I don't know, actually. He's usually wearing a hat. Yeah, so I kind of figured... I like, assumed he was bald. Yeah, so he does have hair. Every Saturday, but you pay. Oh, nice.
Objection!
No. Yes, there's no contradiction anywhere. That is the truth. Yeah, I legitimately have no clue. This is...
Hold it!
Yes, went through the boss's things. A false bottom in the desk drawer. I don't know. I might need a hint. I'm completely at a loss. And I'm just gonna have to start throwing random evidence into random statements. It's gonna take a long time. I don't see how any of this is related to the police not knowing about it. There's a piece of evidence that you pass by without checking. Really? Like, everything I pass by is not related. Like, this? This is a no. Ah! That is so psycho. Why does it not say it
What is this?
Why does it not say it anywhere on here? It says Blackbird Line, not SS Grouse. Wow. Alright. Yeah, that's what Kevin said, buddy Chris. Alright.
Objection!
I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they are places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with their friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the police inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on 31st October. May not have been a gentleman's club at all. Showing a very irrelevant attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You think it's a steamship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. Ah, this would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in the port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on 1st November. Ah! The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, 31st October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission. That ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Growls on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Growls on 31st October. That's gotta be the passport.
Take that!
Is this a passport for travel issued to the victim? Dated 31st October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order, order. This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. Just checking. But didn't one of the Red-Headed League guys have a French accent? The day before the SS Growls arrived at Dover. No, Peppino was Italian. But the other one was French. It docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board, at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? Ha ha ha! I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. He was doing the Dragon Quest zip-puff-puff accent. Yeah, he was. What? You mean you knew about this? The prosecution's strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecution's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? User Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question. Was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. Huh? The Reaper? Order, order. What on earth are you saying, counsel? Prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper when he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout. I'm sure everyone can imagine by their tan. But in reality, the truth is that the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was in fact acting for the Reaper. So you're saying the mission he was undertaking was obviously an assassination. Beric Van Zeeks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast iron alibi, which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson. So, okay, funny that you're saying this in front of Strongheart, who is most likely the actual Reaper and not Van Zeeks, but go on. What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never done nothing like that. This is why I had to get rid of Gregson.
So sad.
Rosen, please! And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, Kazuma setting us to do a final dunking on Strongheart? Yeah. I was saying last chapter, Buddy Chris, I'm like, I think what's gonna happen here is it's just us and Kazuma working together, even though we're defensive prosecutor, it's very godlike. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zeeks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Eric Van Zeeks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, you have some solid reasoning for doubting the assertion, Counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. Unless... What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you missed the point. Why do I feel like Judge Jigoku is going to be involved in this? That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night, with the intention of dispatching his bark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade. What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier that doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of Bailey. You're lying. Even if all them bludgers got taken out at it coming, the boss weren't the Reaper. Or Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you've spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it. Then testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I don't... I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. How about this? We take the notebook from Gina, and we read it. So I don't have to read it in Gina's voice. Can we do that? That is the real problem here. This has been the problem from day one. I hate reading in Gina's accent. Alright, got that off my chest, we're good to go. Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates and places and stuff, and the last entry in there was 31st October. It said Grouse for the place on the date, and then the name of the mark. There was, oh, this is gonna be juicy. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago. That is not a coincidence. Okay. I think it's Judge Jigoku. Is Judge Jigoku the real professor? Wait a minute, they added animation to that emote? Oh my goodness. Okay. That really narrows it down to Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku. And suddenly, the Genshin Asogi scapegoat would make sense because he took the bullet for a friend. He agreed to be convicted because there was already an inside plan to make him escape execution. And then he was killed anyway, possibly by accident. Yeah, Steven, whatever Rosen says, know that he loves Danganronpa another, no matter what he says. Okay, I think this is unraveling a bit.
No.
Yeah. You thought correct, Steven. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Delusional. Never forget, I cried during Danganronpa Another, okay? That game got me in the feels. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only established facts here. This must be so hard for her. Can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can't I deny? The note will contain the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. So, who was to be this final mark? Oh, that is the question. Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on 31st October. F. Oh, how'd you read this then? Ink's still not her strong suit. That ain't the problem, alright, Odo? So, what's funny about that? Oh, first of all, I thought that the parentheses, like the parenthetical lines, were Ryunosuke thinking to himself, but people respond to them all the time. Like, Susato does it, and then she just did it. So, like, what? Is he whispering? I don't get it. It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. It says, here, let me tell you exactly what it is. It says, Seishiro Jigoku. Hi, Thomas. I've heard bits and pieces of Taylor's album. I'm neutral. Orange. I'm surprised you didn't say Iris. So it's someone from overseas. Let me have a bash at it. Seshiro. Is it? Yeah, Seshiro. Jigo. You. Maybe. What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku? But that's Judge Jigoku. Seishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection!
That can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku. And I saw him the day before yesterday here in London. So I know for a fact that the man can't have been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and returned on 2 British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake. So he killed the inspector personally. What if Jigoku killed him? The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Beric Van Zieks. So they said that the mark escaped trial 10 years ago, which is when the Professor case happened. It's an undeniably logical argument. Cosmo planned for this trial to go this way all along.
Hold it!
Oh, Van Zieks? Ah! Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice whilst I stand accused of murder. But Lord Van Zieks? The accused has no right to speak
Kiss my
uninvited
feet.
in court.
I will step on you.
I do like that he did that with the leg. Yeah, Kevin made turkey. And I bought sweet potato fries. Trader Joe's. No, not a pizza. You will return to the dock. Kevin even says. Kevin's feeling awake now at 8:30 p.m. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. That girl is no detective. What? Nah, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony. It's practically a script. No doubt the rest of the trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. So I was thinking kind of from the beginning, what if the journal was a plant? Which seems to be what Van Zieks thinks as well. What did you say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. Very well, I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense. Begin the cross-examination immediately. I love Van Zieks. He just drinking as he is being accused of murder. He's just on the witness stand drinking. And is the defendant. Unbelievable. Alright. I am going to cross-examine, but I'm gonna take a dinner break real quick. So give me 5 to 10 and I'll be back, guys. Okay. I am back. Dinner has been consumed. And I'm ready for about another hour of Ace Attorney. So, we are beginning, the cross-examination. So I'm assuming, what we're gonna need to find here is Van Zeek's reacting to one of the times that we press Gina. This, definitely, they're revealing a lot of tea at this point. I definitely am wondering if this is in fact Gregson's notebook, or if it's a plant and somebody else wrote it. There's already been a few things about penmanship, right? We have his signature, but that's not really, like, enough to go off of. There was a whole thing with Dr. Wilson's penmanship, too, though. And we have this note from Mikotoba. So, honestly, I don't even know if this is going to come into play, but it could. Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to the past 10 years.
Hold it!
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you and all. That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and that notebook said what he found out. If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no one person that could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. You at its head. I had spies at the yard, keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. Said it? You knew it said Krause? Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone. Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there. But of course the inspector was not there. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport now found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well, back to your testimony about the contents of the notebook. Fine. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking it, aren't I? Names of victims, dates, and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was on 31st October.
Hold it!
Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff? What in particular? Well, besides the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that? The one I told you yesterday. The same name written over and over again. You mean Assassin? Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday? Assassin. The assassin. What? Like, a killer, you mean? Asa, our bestie, the best of friends. Yeah, she just tried to frame us for killing someone. Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. Her swan hat was definitely iconic, yeah. Mostly because the swan was real. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable, and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? Rest in peace the swan, by the way. Because I'm pretty sure it died when she did. That's true. If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. Ah, and perhaps what it said on the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Would that person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seishiro Jikoku's life? Gina, can you confirm that against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seishiro Jikoku? What name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens. What? It just had like a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in the case. But Gregson was the one making plans, was he not? He derives from French aristocracy. Fabien de Rousseau. Okay. Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin. It said Grouse for the place on the date, and then the name of the mark.
Hold it!
And you're saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jikoku. That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was on. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jikoku is the President Judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. To Lord Strongheart and Judge Jikoku, was Judge Jikoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, after the fateful case. Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I didn't think it was possible, but the mood ears got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. There was a note about him being a criminal, but got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago.
Hold it!
What do you mean, a criminal? Judge Jikoku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me. I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jikoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure. Yes, of course, you're right. Seishiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify, but he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. Oh, so maybe he's not the professor. It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens. Did? Thomas! Thank you for the 14 months on this account. And for your Prime, that always feels good.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, about the bass. No treble, I'm all about that bass. About that bass. No treble, I'm all about that bass. About that bass. No treble.
Thanks, Thomas. Heather. Assassin. I love when he said assassin. The assassin. It's like anybody that's slow like me that didn't get it until like the 11th hour, they're just gonna spell it out. It was considered to be an adjunct to the professor proceedings, you see. Boyfriend Energy, welcome back! You're here for another Ace Attorney episode. We are in the final chapter of this game, and it is wonderful. His name was Mr. Krim. Krim Inal. That literally sounds like some shit that would be in Ace Attorney. But he was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own that there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper, or guilty or innocent alike. What? No! Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Jigoku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after the trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the Mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reapers absurd? Killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. But... right, I've just about had enough of this. Gina? All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people? It's cobblers! Come on, Odo. Yes? Why ain't you saying nothing? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? What? You gotta find a flaw. You usually do. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please, for the boss. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear? I've at it with a lot of ya. It's lies every bleeding place you look in this world, ain't it? I've had enough. Gina. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean? I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. Come on, Odo, help! You've gotta find a flaw somewhere. Hold it! I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Eh? What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. one inconsistency. What? An inconsistency? Leoto? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... Yes, there's an inconsistency. Oh, shit! There's an inconsistency in something that was said by... Gag. Okay. I see dots. I had to highlight Iris because I knew she would be the focal. How far up can I go here? Oh god, oh my god. Van Zeeks or Kazuma? Or Strongheart? I wonder if you just get a game over if you accuse Strongheart. No one else said anything. And I kind of don't think we disagree with Kazuma. Although, you could say the inconsistency was other people that left the country that never got killed by the Reaper. I'm gonna say Kazuma.
Take that!
By you, Kazuma Asogi. Okay, I was right, thank God. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. Fuck. Okay, so I accused Kazuma under a different pretense, and I don't know what this is about. Review what he said quickly before it goes away. The whole premise of the Reaper is absurd, killing those who have been found innocent. Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. But Pengy accusing people of being right. Did the Reaper kill anyone guilty? No. So the Reaper only kills people that are found innocent that go up against Prosecutor Van Zeeks. Very well then, Counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asagi said? Ain't that a bitch. Trying to think of things that he should and shouldn't know. Yeah. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm assuming the line was outside of my history, which makes me have to recount what Kazuma might have said for that, and I don't know. They should really expand how far back the history goes. Because, like, what if you get to this point and you legitimately get stuck? What if it's the Asagi papers? What if the line of thinking is Kazuma shouldn't know what actually happened to his father because he was lied to, right? I'm gonna try it.
Take that!
I'm wrong. Struck down by my boyfriend. Oh, she gives a hint! Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the coast of France. Oh! He didn't know about the trunk! As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Oh wow, so we have to use the metal trunk? Oh god. What if Kazuma killed him? I just saw her on my camera. What are you doing on that elevated bed? You guys see it over here? Cats don't like cameras, so the fact that she's doing this is really funny. I think she just realized that she's on camera, so now she's... Yep, there she goes. Very precious, I know. 1 second, guys, I'll be right back.
Mm.
Hello, yes. I thought I heard aggravated angst noises. Kevin is saying you have post Mariah. The box.
Take that!
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A blood stain, and a relatively fresh one, too. What? You mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it, me, with my nose for trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. Kazuma? And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? You know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection!
But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On 31st October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... Definitely the machinations are machinating. I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose. Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think. Ha! Come on, Ryunosuke, you know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So, as it stands, you've proved nothing. Ah! Thoughts, Kazuma? Are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector. He was there, with Gregson! Here's a clue that you've overlooked, a secret that trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point, I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm about to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Where is the evidence that ties Prosecutor Asugi to Inspector Gregson? Oh god, it's probably the slash.
Got it!
This is your proof. What do you say to that, Professor Asugi? Personally, I think tying the defense counsel to the inspector's trunk and tossing it into the sea would be more helpful. At least that way, London's courtroom will be safe from his destructive accusation. Oh. Well... Oh, yeah. I thought the sword that he always carries, right? And the slash mark? My logic and reasoning were not Sholmes enough. The accusation being made is even disturbing, nevertheless we must test it. Where is the evidence that ties Prosecutor Asogi to Inspector Gregson? Honestly, none of this. Oh, and one other person.
Got it!
This is your... What? What? Wait a minute. No. Both of my reasonings made sense. What do you mean, game? Like, none of this is even clickable. I mean, the only other thing that you can even click is the blood, and that makes zero sense. Is it supposed to be obvious? I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. 2 notebooks, 2 bottles of something, and another thing that I can't click on. Like, this better not be what they want me to click on, because none of that is obvious.
Got it!
No, I'm wrong again. So it's not anything that you can click on. They want you to click on something else. That feeling of despair when Ace Attorney is on its bullshit and you're trying to figure out what the game thinks is logical for you to point out. That is where we are. What is that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk. It's glinting. Looks like a fragment of metal.
Got it!
There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like a tip of a blade. A blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it? Here in this courtroom. For all to see. Exercise caution, my learned friend. Bury that, Thomas. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Asugi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Oh no. The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kasuma Asugi. Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asugi? Yes, on 31st October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I've killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk, but I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it. We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson, traveled to Dover, from where crossed the Channel to Dunkirk. When we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Jigoku's cabin. Exactly. Wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town, and returned to England the following week. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It will be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence in that matter. Oh, so I'm innocent because I said so. Got it. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. We must take immediate action now. Aruma the Great Blade. It's such a thing of beauty, I want to gaze on it for hours. Tip of the great sword, broken. It's such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karuma's sobs. Azuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. Nothing else to examine, huh? To verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. So, okay. Who told you to assassinate him? Azuma, you literally have not told us. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited Great Britain who was missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Fancy? Drinking. If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order, order in court, order. We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Jigoku! No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake. My lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, You will face grave. Why? Court is adjourned for 30 minutes? Why would... What? Wouldn't that prove that Kazuma... Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can barely believe it either, but on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Shikoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we have careering toward a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do right now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us. Yes, surely that will help. If for some reason you completely run out of options for trial today, then you pull on this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? Here goes then. I'm gonna do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. Looking back. Heave! Ow! Scream. Sounded like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes? Where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here! It's the felt doll talking. Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll pull with all my strength. Heave! Arrgh! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left over last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. We've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street that night, we hurried by cab to the station and train to the port in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? The steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Sholmes, old famous great detective. Recited to perfection, well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow, ow, ow! Miss Susato, gently with this genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. I remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steam. Ha ha ha! But of course it was, my dear fellow. Not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name. Yes, you didn't you? You just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say. Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within half an hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow! I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear. in that mindless fashion. My god, look at the doll pulling out his ear. Whatever the idea behind making the receiver operated in that way in the first place, whatever was the idea. Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Miss Sholmes, we have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. Oh, it's these guys again. First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry fellow. Why are you loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do not recognize world-traveling great sailor? Chicken stroganoff. Oh, not this. When you see? Great detective? Ha! I don't think so. You see that, Mikotoba? It would appear this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me, is that a tattoo? That says Sholmes? I must say, whilst such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave now! How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. I also have my arm. Thoughts? I don't know. I've seen your Discord profile picture has been Sholmes, I think, since I met you. Might as well be a tattoo. And yet, I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman, currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikotoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London on a ship, you see, but looking for one of my fellow passengers, and by the name of Goku. There is no one with this name on board. But we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern Man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk, said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? Seychelles realized that we're after him, has he? This cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No, I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikotoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention, will you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. Doesn't great detectives see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Curses! The plan is ruined! And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid. Forget it, cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Any luck? In a mere 5 seconds. So, if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, friend? Do I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man. So, the game is afoot. Must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I could distract the crew's attention with this somehow. Shoot him! Oh my. Shoot, shoot! That sounds like Big Mouse in trap. Shoot, shoot! I will bring bucket of water later and put out of misery. I like the sound of that. In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. Only Japanese mice make a chew sound. Oh, Bichons? And pray tell, what sound do Russian mice make? EP. Naturally! Though also quite unconvincing, I readily admit. So go ahead, Itoba, do a PP this time. No thank you. I'm sure I can come up with an alternative solution. This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose. That thing would ring. The whole crew would know about it. Maybe not. Switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I were to turn off the lights, crewmen wouldn't be able to see what we were doing. What is happening? Where is light? Now, Sholmes, now! Nobody there. That was a close shave. Quite a knack you have, stumbling so violently in an apparently empty corridor. You be quiet, Sholmes. I shall have to think of another approach. That's the way back to the deck. But we certainly can't give up now. It's another first-class cabin, and yet its door is completely unguarded. Empty as well. I had a quick look inside earlier, though I confess I didn't investigate the wardrobe. May very well be a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily. If you're referring to Naruhodo, you know very well that he's currently perspiring merrily in court. Does it not strike you odd, though, Mikutoba? Why the man stands guard only in front of this cabin, when both are vacant? Like a Neo Guardian statue, this fellow. The way he's staring at us so fiercely. Tell me, why are you standing guard here if this cabin is unoccupied? Because the area is only for first-class passengers. Let's look out for suspicious criminals. He was looking straight at me when he said that. Your fellow, as you can plainly see, we are quite unsuspicious as criminals go. Is that his name? No. It's Chicken Stroganoff, which is ridiculous. Still a criminal. No. For goodness sake, Sholmes, tell the man we're neither suspicious nor criminals. Ah yes, quite right, Mikola. Curses, the seaman is far too able for his own good. Extremely careful in what you say. One of us ought to, yes. Yeah, there was beef stroganoff before, yeah, I remember. The puns know no bounds. That's a speaking tube for members of the crew to communicate with one another around the ship. I could just persuade our stocky sailor friend that he could use it. Jones could unlock the door whilst he was distracted. The question is, how? goes then. You, what are you doing? We were at sea, that would be very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff, report at once! Sorry, sir, nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. No, not by me, by world famous... No, as I told you. Now Sholmes, down. Done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't stand there scoffing at my brilliance, Mikatoba. In we go. Okay, well, this makes no sense. Wouldn't he see them enter? Oh boy. Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor, they're Seishiro's without question. Well, it seems we are just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Wow, I'm getting such flashbacks to Chapter 2 of GAA1. I'm pretty sure they reused the scenes. Well, whilst we are here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find here. But that burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed he may, which makes this all the more thrilling. Alright, in favor of not forgetting evidence that we get in this session next week, guys, I'm gonna make my save, because it's getting close enough to bedtime anyways. But, very, very, very good session. We will be getting further along next Saturday, not next Sunday. Next Sunday is my birthday. We're kind of figuring out exactly what the plan is gonna be for that. I don't know as of right now, but I'm gonna think about it and then make a schedule. And it's something to look forward to? Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, Dots. Alright, anyways, guys, I am gonna be getting out of here for the night. I gotta start to wind down and get ready for bed. Probably gonna do Kenshin dailies or something, pack my lunch, and crawl into bed in about 30 minutes, so... thank you guys for hanging out today. It was a great stream. Unicorn Overlord's the best. This game is great. No winding down. You bet. Guys, I will see you. Okay, so yeah, plan is I think I'll try and make the schedule by tomorrow afternoon. I don't think we're streaming tomorrow. Sorry. So I'll see you guys on Tuesday for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Good night.